Okay, what we're gonna look at today is calculating GDP. So let's take out the earbuds. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is look at what our GDP is taking in. So right here, we know the calculation is C plus I plus G, imports minus exports, okay? And this is how we'll get GDP. So what we're gonna do on this first one is we're gonna total everything up. So I know my equation is C plus I plus G plus X minus M is gonna equal my GDP, right? And then I do have transfer payments in there, so I'm gonna add that in. So what is my C? What is my number there? 1,000. What is my business? 200. So that's gonna give me a total of what? 1,200 for my little economy, and then now I need to add the government. How much is the government spending? 500, so that gives me 1,700. Please, let's not die. Okay, and then I'm gonna have my what? I'm gonna subtract, right? So 75 is my imports, right? Minus 50, okay. So, I'm gonna, which one do I put first? Exports, so I'm gonna have my little 50 minus what?
75.
Which is gonna give me what?
-25.
I need to take away minus 25 there. So I have 1,700 minus 25, that's gonna give me what for my GDP?
1675.
Okay, I know these numbers were very small, right? For the US economy, it's gonna be a lot bigger. But do y'all get how to calculate GDP? Yes, if you're ever given this stuff and you had to calculate it out, could you calculate it out? Okay, so the next thing, what we're gonna look at in GDP is how to calculate year to year what's going on in our GDP. So we talked about real GDP and we talked about nominal GDP. I said the word nominal has what letter in it that gives me a clue what nominal's talking about. It has the letter I, and what does nominal tell me? Inflation. Okay, you weren't here for the lesson, so let's pay attention. So what we're gonna look at is the economy of Doraville. They're gonna produce 3 goods: pizza, lemons, and watches. Sounds yummy. We're gonna use the table provided and talk about the information about the prices and outputs from years 1 through 3. And we're gonna use this to be able to tell us about nominal GDP. So to calculate nominal GDP, all we do is we take the price times the quantity, right? So if I look at this first one, for year 1, right? They're gonna have the price for earbuds is $40, right? Times how much they sell is 100, so what does that give me? 400. I now look at the next item, right? Lemons. They sell a lemon for $1 times
4,000.
4,000. Sorry. Okay, there we go. We're checking the math. Okay, I look at lemons for that year 1. They're selling them for $1. How many do they sell? 200. So that gives me what? So I'm gonna take 200 and 200 and do something with it in a second, right? Now I'm gonna take the watches. They sell those watches for $80 times 10 watches. That's gonna give me what? 80. So now now that I've done this, I take these numbers. 800, sorry, I'm shysty with my zeros. Now I take all of these numbers, right? 4,000 plus 200, that gives me 4,200, right? Plus 800, that's gonna give me this year's GDP of being 5,000. Do we all get that? Do we know how to get nominal GDP? Okay, I want you to try for the next 2 lines. I just showed you and modeled how to do it, so I want you to try for the next 2 lines. a second, then realized we're recording. Okay, so for year two, did everybody do year two already? So what was the first number that y'all got for your first, the earbuds? 50, and then what did y'all get for lemons? What did y'all get for watches? And you added all these up, what did that give you for the nominal GDP? Correct. Okay, for year three, have y'all done that one? Okay, so let's do this one. What did we get for 45 times 110? Y'all should. Okay, what did y'all get for lemons? 220. What did y'all get for the watches? 1,020. Oh, there we go. So that gives you.
6,190.
Okay. So we got by year what's going on, right? What do we see generally happening with the prices? It's increasing, but what we need to figure out is what percent change in the nominal happened year to year. And so to set this up, which we were doing it last time, and y'all were just like, whoa, I've just thrown a lot of math at you, right? Are y'all good with how to calculate nominal? Let's look at this next one. I want to figure out, huh?
How do you do it?
That, this, you just take the price times the quantity, price times the quantity, price times the quantity, and add up.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that's how we do the nominal. But when I calculate percent change, I'm gonna do, like, this one asks me, what is the percent change in nominal GDP from year one to year two?
Yeah.
To do that, the equation is I take the new value minus the old value over the old value times 100. So what's the new value of year two?
6,150.
Minus what? What's the old value?
5,000.
All over 5,000. Okay, so let's try this one together and see what we get. Wait. No, because you should get a percentage. You have to take, you have to subtract on your calculator, you have to subtract 6,100, 500 minus from 5,000. That should have given you 1,150, right? And then you divide by 5,000. Yeah, it's just you had to take each entity separate. And then you divide it by 5,000, that gave you a decimal, right? What was that decimal that this gave you? 0.23, and then you multiply this times 100, which gives you,
23%.
okay, can you now do this one right here? I've given you how to set it up, we've practiced it, right? So now try this on your own. So we're looking from year 3 to year 2, so what is the new value?
6,900.
Yes, y'all got it. Okay. What was the decimal y'all got? Okay, times 100, that should give you what? A 0.65%, right? It's very little, okay? So, now what we're gonna do is calculate the real GDP. And to calculate the real GDP, we are gonna do, let me show you how you calculate real GDP. I'm gonna do for year 1 and year 2, and then you're gonna do year 3 on your own, okay? So year 1, all we do is we take the price times the quantity. So what is the first thing? Earbuds, right? What was the price for the earbuds? Yeah, it's gonna, well, no.
Sorry, never mind.
40 times 100, right? That gives me 4,000. Then I take the next thing, lemons, which this looks like real, right? But I'm gonna show you how this is different when I get to year 2. This should give me 200. And then I take the watches, 80 times 10, right, for the quantity. That gives me 80, right? 800. All of this together equals 5,000, right? Y'all see that to that, right? They look the same. Because always on the base year, the real and the nominal, did you get that, Noah? The real and the nominal on the first year will always be the same. Stop messing around with your phone. Pay attention.
Always put in the
Okay.
numbers. I gotta do it on my phone.
What do
I'm
we?
not sure I understand.
Okay, so what we're gonna look at is the real GDP on here is we take the quantity of the base year, of the current year, and we're gonna multiply that times the price of the base year. So I'm gonna take the price of the base year. So what's the base year for the earbuds? 40, right? But I need to take it of the current year. So what is it that they sell in quantity of the current year of year 2?
1, 2.
So times 110. I'm gonna look at lemons. What was the price in the base year? 1, but what was the quantity of the current year?
216.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the price of base year 1, which is what for the watches? 80 of the base year. And I'm gonna multiply it times the quantity of the current year, which is what? 12. So now let's look at this and do this one together. 40 times 110 gives me 40 times 110. 4,000? 40? Is that correct? I don't know. I haven't done the math. 40 times 110. Okay, we got we're just having issues with zeros. This is 216, right? And then 80 times 12 is what?
960.
So now I total all of this up. I take 960 plus 216 plus 4,400. Okay, that gives me 5,576. Do y'all see how this is different? Because this one had the what in it, this price right here, it had the what?
The new price.
It had the new price, but also the inflation. What have I just calculated out of it? The inflation, but now does this give me, is this number a lot smaller? Yes, because now this shows me, is that growth really gonna be 23%? No, that growth was actually a lot lower, but I was calculating out that inflation. So what we're gonna look at the next one, again, we're using the base price, right? What's the base year price for earbuds? And then you're gonna take the current year of earbuds. What is the current year for year 3? 110. Ooh, round. Okay, then we come over here for lemons. What's the base year price? 1, but I take the quantity of year 3, which is what?
220.
Right, and then over here, I take the price of the base year for watches, which is what? And then I multiply it times that current year, which is what? Okay, calculate this on your own. Oh, this should be easy.
Miss Virginia,
Huh?
what does it say after Q? Right, on the left, on my left.
This one right here,
Yeah.
it's the quantity of the current year, and the price is always of the base year, which is the base year is the first year.
Oh, so is that nothing?
This was just an issue I had. It should be of.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now this is the same. This is the only thing that differed, right? So how much do I need to add to it? Just 4. So this is 5,500 and. Is this a lot different from that?
Well, yes, it is.
Yeah, this was 40, right? But this is only 4. Do y'all see the correlation? So with this prices right here, what have I calculated out of it? inflation, cause the real tells me what the real growth is without the inflation. How do y'all feel? We're gonna do one more rotation of this, just so we get this, because I think this is what we were struggling with last time, and y'all are like, whoa, I'm throwing way too much numbers at you. Okay. On AP, you're gonna get more numbers like this one that I'm sending out right now. Okay, this math is gonna be very similar to what we're gonna be doing with inflation. Right now, we're just doing GDP, it's very similar. So on this first one, it's gonna, and I know I put a chart, because that's what it's helpful when we have a chart. When we don't have space, it's not helpful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate the nominal. I want you to do it for 2015, 2016, and 2017. So what do you have to do? I've given you the clue here. You just go across, right? So let me show you again. Crackers, 1 times the quantity of 2 gives me a total of what? 2. Toast, 2 times 2 gives me. Then cheese, 3 times 2 gives me. So this whole year's nominal GDP should be what? 12. There's my answer. Okay, go and do the next 2 years and see if y'all get how to do nominal. Have y'all finished 2016 and 17? Okay, so when y'all did across here, what did y'all get for crackers? 2 for toast,
5,
for cheese.
6,
That give you the nominal GDP of what? 13. Okay, over here in 2017, what did y'all get for crackers?
3,
Okay, what y'all get for toast?
7.5,
What did y'all get for cheese?
10.5,
That gave you the nominal GDP of,
21.3.
okay, do y'all get how to do nominal GDP? Now what I want you to do is to calculate real. I did not give you a chart for this, but what we'd have to do is take the what? The prices from the base year times the, okay, so for 2015, I'm gonna take the price of the base year times the quantity. What do I already know that is?
12.
12, there we go. That was easy. Your nominal and your real, if there's a base year, are always gonna be the same. So now, I need to take the price of the base year, right? So what are the prices of the base year? For cheese, toast, and crackers, toast, and cheese. 1, 2, 3. And then I need to take the quantity from the current year. So what's the quantity of the 2016 year for crackers? 2. What's the quantity for toast? In 2016? 2. What's the quantity for cheese? And what do I need to do to each one of these? Okay, so 1 times 2 gives me, 2 times 2 gives me, that gives me, total it up. Whoa, did we really have inflation? No, we just got more quantity. Okay, now for the next one, you are gonna multiply times the base year again. What is it? 1, 2, and 3. What are the quantities? 3, 3, 3. That gave us what? Was there growth in GDP? Yes. Because I calculated out the inflation. Look, was there a great difference in those two numbers? This was what it was with inflation. Now I've taken out that inflation. Did that number really lower for that GDP growth? Right? So now we're going to calculate the growth. In this one, we're going to use the real GDP. So I'm going to show you this one for the base year. I take the new value, which is 12, minus the old value, which is the base year 12, over the 12, and that gives you what? So then if I look at the second year, it's 12 again, right? 12 minus 12 over 12 is... Alright, so now for this year, I take the new value, which is what? Minus what? That's going to give me over 12, so that gives me 6 over 12 times 100. 50% growth in GDP. How do y'all feel about the numbers now? Can y'all do this backside on your own now? Okay, try the backside. Okay, have y'all all gotten through the nominal? The first one up here. So what did y'all get for food? 15. What did y'all get for clothes? What did y'all get for entertainment? So what did that give you for the nominal GDP of 2009? 53. So for 2010, what did y'all get for food? 20. What did y'all get for clothes? What did y'all get for entertainment? So when you total that up, they gave you a nominal GDP for 2010 of 145. Right? Is that correct? Okay, so now try this next one. You're going to calculate the real. You should already know the hint for the first year is going to be what? It's going to be the same as the nominal, so what's that number? So now all you need to do is take the quantity of the current year, which is what? 8, 10, and what? Times the price of the base year, which is what? 2.5, 6, and 4. Multiply those across and see what you get. So when you multiply 8 times 0.25, you got what? 20, and then 6 times 10, and then 5 times 4. That gave you the 100. How do y'all feel? So now what you're going to do is to calculate the growth, right? Well, if I do the base year, 53 minus 53 over 53, 0. Then the next year, I take what? 100 over what? Okay, I don't have this calculated, so y'all calculate too, and I'll calculate as well. Ah. Did y'all get this? There you go. Okay, so, what?
Would you round up on it?
You could, I just did it like what it was said there. Alright, so, this is an AP style question. It says the outputs and prices of goods and services in country X are shown on the table above, which is the table I've given you right here. Y'all see that? It says, assuming that 2009 is the base year, calculate each of the following. The nominal gross domestic product in 2010. So what is our nominal gross domestic product in 2010? There you go. We already did the math for that answer. What is the real GDP in 2010? 100, right? Do y'all see what the AP test is asking you to do? I know the math. How do y'all feel about the handle with the math? Okay, on Friday, I don't think we felt very good about the math, right? But now that we've gone over it, how do you calculate nominal? Price times quantity. How do you calculate real? Quantity, current, base year. How do I calculate change between the years? New minus old value over old value times 100. How do we feel about these equations? A lot of it is just repetition, but do y'all feel better? Okay, we will